All right, guys, welcome back to the WRPF podcast. I'm your host, Alex Uslar, episode 15. This week, I'm joined by my boy, Micah Marino. Been dying to have him on the podcast. We're finally having him on. You guys may know him as the founder and the meet director behind the American Pro, pretty much the best meet to ever hit untested powerlifting, in my opinion, even being someone who's ran pro meets. I thank Micah for this. Micah's been my boy for years now. If you guys have ever followed my old podcast, I had him on and we talked about his life and his come up in the sport. And now we're going to have him here on the WRPF podcast. He started WRPF Nationals. He runs many WRPF meets every year in addition to the American Pro. So we're just going to get to know Micah. This episode's not going to be all centered around the American Pro. You guys know every episode we've been talking about it because that's what everyone's looking at this year. We'll have Micah on again down the line to talk more things specific American Pro. But Micah, this episode, we want to get to know you.
Man, finally. Nah, I'm kidding.
So, Micah, tell us about what got you into the sport of powerlifting. What was Micah Marino doing before he was a all-time world record holder powerlifter and goddamn good-looking guy?
Sheesh. Well, first off, it's by these 2X. This is actually a 3X women, so I know I look swollen. But anyways, I started powerlifting. I started working out as a kid. My dad, I'm going to try to make a long story short, but my dad was a powerlifter as well. So I've always been in sports. So like training always has been a thing. I always had to train. And then in about 2007, I actually did my first powerlifting meet. My best friend at the time, his dad was coaching one of actually the best squatters of all time, Jeff Lewis, this is a 400-pound dude who, like, I think he was the first guy to ever squat 1,200, could be 1,100. I was a kid and I would see them training in the basement and I was like, man, that looks so cool. So I would just like had a really cool grungy like basement gym, and I'm seeing this guy squat 1,000 pounds, multiply regular like all the time. He was doing the Arnold. So I was like, you know what? I like tried it out, and he coached me to like my first single ply meet, and that was in '07. I think I was like a 148 or something like that. It was fun. I mean, I remember so to this day, like seeing new lifters like wait for the press or the up command in a squat, and that's literally what I did at my first meet. I went down and I'm like, and then I got red lights. They grabbed me, and then my coach was like, "Don't pause it in the hole. It's not bench." And I was like, "Oh, okay, whatever." But I think I squatted like 365 single ply, bench 315 single ply. And I think at that time I was conventional, so my deadlift was pretty bad. I think I was still over 500, but it wasn't like nowhere near what it was. And then, and then I got big into football. So I kind of like put powerlifting on the
Bro, just to
back end.
stop you really quick, that is, first of all, you are out of all my guests have the farthest back that it goes on open powerlifting. 2007, boy, 16
Yeah.
years ago was your 16 years ago was your first meet. That is absolutely crazy, and that is super cool. It doesn't get much more OG than that. I knew you'd been powerlifting a really long time, but I didn't know it was '07 long time. So that's very cool.
Yeah, man, it's been fun, and I've had some breaks where dealing with knee surgeries, 5 years out. But anyways, fast forward like through football and all that, I still power lifted. I actually helped our program at our school imply deadlifting because I just thought they just didn't deadlift. I'm like, well, why aren't we deadlifting? But anyways, I did all that. I still competed here and there. Did some USAPL meets, got popped in the USAPL, and then I did some USPA meets. At this time, dude, there was no raw. Like there was no raw. We made fun of raw guys because we told them that they couldn't you're raw because you can't figure out the suit, So that's all I did, and I broke a bunch of all-time world records. Actually, my last all-time world record was at 181. I pulled 795. It was in a multiply meet, but I was single ply because I didn't like deadlifting multiply, and this was like, man, I want to say right before my knees started getting bad. Actually, right when I switched to raw, and then my knees started getting bad. But at that time, that's when Instagram kind of started like getting bigger, and that's kind of where like my clout, I guess, or my following kind of build.
This is 2015, right? I got Open Powerlifting Open, so I can help you with the time.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Yeah, I
I
did like a raw
between 2007, that first year that we said, all the way up to this 2015 point. Like you said, you had tons of USAPL, then a ton of USPA, all single ply, single ply, single ply, single ply.
Yeah.
Numbers constantly climbing up, dotsing over 600 pounds. And then 2015, like I've talked about everyone, because around 2015, 2014, 2015 is when Instagram really was blowing up, and you're seeing all these Instagram lifters. You know, you see Dan Green with tons of followers. You see, you know, Pete Rubish, like all these different guys, right? A lot of them raw as well. So I remember seeing your deadlift, and me personally, I started popping around 2013. I didn't know what single ply was. I only knew because I got in at that time where I was looking at the Dan Greens. I saw them either with knee wraps or with knee sleeves on. And I had a pair of knee wraps. I didn't know how to put them on. So I usually just knee sleeves. And I remember seeing, because I think there was pages like King of the Lift, some different pages like that, and seeing that deadlift of yours. And that was around when I found your social media. So that deadlift, there we go. That was 2015 and 2015, that just under 800-pound pull, right?
Yeah. So actually, like before that, I think a year before that, I can't remember, I did a raw meet just because I saw there's a kid named Jason Manikoff. You may know him, you may not know him. He's a big guy on like, he's gonna call everybody out, and he started telling me like, hey, you know,
he owns
you
a
can't
gym
do
in New
this raw.
Jersey, right?
Yeah.
I heard
Super
that guy
cool
doesn't
dude.
let people even use his kilo plates to deadlift and stuff. He's that.
Yeah, man. He's very, very strict guy. But I was like looking up some of these world records raw, and I'm like, oh my God, the deadlift's like 705. So I like jumped into a meet at 165 and broke the all-time. That was like my first real all-time world record. And it was in a multiply meet, but they let me register raw just because there was nothing called raw. So anyways, fast forward, I did 795, and then that's when I posted that video on Facebook and Instagram, and it just like blew up. And it blew up in a negative way, but kind of helped me in a positive way because I just kept gaining followers. But everyone at the time was like, what is he wearing? Like, he's wearing this suit, like like that's not a singlet, that's not raw, he's cheating. I'm like, bro, I literally signed up for this meet. Like, how is it cheating? But so fast forward like 8 weeks later, they had the USPA Nationals where, like, at the time, Iron Rebel had Larry Wheels, Malik Durstein, me. Like, it was like this huge, big, what is his name? Garrett Guns, like this huge team. And I was like, they reached out to me, and I was like, hey, I'll do the meet raw, like whatever. I'll go knee wraps raw, and I'll go head to head versus Malik Durstein, and whatever. Like, people are talking trash saying I can't do it raw. Like, okay. I ended up bombing out on squats, obviously, because I was a multiply lifter. I still ended up deadlifting like 7 something, I think 727. Like, I almost bombed out in deadlifts too, because like I hit my opener, and then I like didn't get a down command. So then the second attempt, I went up, and that just it felt terrible. So I like went up again. I think like it was either 727, 738. I can't really remember. And I was so mad. I'm like, oh my God, I just proved everyone right. Like, I suck. Like, what the, oh man, I'm supposed to be world record holder. And it just proved everyone. So then I went up again, and I ended up getting my third attempt. And then it kind of like everyone forgot, like I bombed out on squats. But they even actually gave me 4 attempts on squat, because my third attempt, the spotter like touched the bar. So they're like, we'll give you the option to take it again. And I'm like, I could not bomb out of this meet. Like, I'm just whatever. So I thought I buried it. I bombed out to depth, and then from there, it was a reality check. I got signed by Iron Rebel. I bombed out of a meet, then got signed by Iron Rebel. Then I was like, all right, well, everyone's talking trash about me. My Instagram's blowing up, and I was coaching a lot. So I'm like, I gotta prove to myself that I'm good. So I then cut down to 165, and I did the LA Fit Expo. I don't know if you remember, but I think that was 2016, 15 in January, whatever.
16.
I think it was 2000. Yeah. And that was the meet. That was the meet. That was like the coolest meet. Everyone did it. Brandon Allen, like everyone that was good raw did it. So I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna go. And I was supposed to go head to head versus Ross Petkoff. You know who that is?
Of course, yeah.
So me and him were going back and forth. He was the all-time world record holder at 165, and me and him were going at it and training. And then he ended up slicing his hand like 2 weeks out, so he didn't end up going. But I broke the all-time total, I broke the all-time deadlift, and then I got hurt. and that put me out for 5 years. And I needed double knee surgery. And that was like when I came back, it was when well, 2 years of like getting my first one right. I was coming back, and that was when the first Kern, I think, maybe it was 1 year or whatever. The first Kern came out, and I was like, this would be a perfect story. Like my first year back, someone took my world record literally like the next weekend after I did total. So I'm like, this is my chance to come back and get it. In training for it, everything was going well. I did like an 806 block pull a couple weeks out. Boom, same injury happened to my other knee. So that put me out for like 2 more years. So around the time it was 5 years I was out. I didn't compete. I still coached. I just still coached. In the meantime, I started a brand called Fight or Quit where I did clothing. We went to all these meets. I was still in the community. So I was still like cool with everybody. I was coaching athletes. I actually quit my job to move to Las Vegas because that's all I wanted to do. I was coaching hundreds of athletes, like all the time, just sitting on my phone like a little nerd. But I didn't even I was giving out my phone number on Instagram, like text me, my number's like, and it was just at the time there was no coaches, dude. Then I started to come back after my knee surgery, and I did your meet.
Let's stop right there real quick because I remember. So 2016 is when your first knee surgery was, right?
Yeah.
So I remember that was the first time I had followed you on Instagram at this point, and I remember seeing everything you were doing. It was so different, literally putting your phone number, having people text you to do coaching, getting insane amounts of engagement, as we call it today. When being an influencer wasn't really a thing, you were one of those people being an influencer in so many ways.
Yeah.
And then I remember 2016, I was at is either National or Worlds. They were both in Vegas, right? So you're probably living there at that time. And I see you hobbling around the Golden Nugget in crutches.
Oh my God.
Yep. And one of my athletes who I was coaching, he was like a big fan of yours, and he went up to you and said hello, took a picture of you. He still has that picture on his Instagram, this old dude of you and him together that I took. And that was my first interaction with Micah Marino. I remember that 2016.
Oh, really?
Seen you lift. And then it's really funny. From there, somehow we became internet friends at one point. Through that, like you said, it was almost 5 years. It was a really long period of time from 2016, and then it was 2020 when you make your comeback, right?
Yeah, man. It was your meet. It was I actually had hired Jason Manikoff to coach me for that meet. I actually the year before came out and worked out with you at your first hybrid because Steph did the deadlift part of it.
That's right. Yep, that was 2018. We benched together. Yeah.
Yeah, we benched together.
That's
and that's
person. Yep.
Yeah, I came to the gym, hung out with you. Then we went on that boat trip, and I got freaking sick. I got seasick on that stupid ass boat. I don't know if you remember that, but you were having a blast with everybody. Like John Hack was on it. I'm like, dude, this is so cool. Like I'm this poor kid from St. Louis, Missouri, the hood. I'm on this cool boat with all these people from Miami. Like. And then I get seasick. I had no clue that was the thing. And I remember I'm just like in the bathroom, like I'm so embarrassed. People are banging on the door. I'm like, oh, hey.
Have you been in the boat since?
I mean, I've been on cruises, but nothing like that, bro.
Yeah, Lauren, my wife, she gets the same thing on boats like that. She gets sick. She gets car sick. And I'm just like, yo, what?
I do the little sticker now when I went on the cruise. But it makes sense. I used to be able to be fine, but after my knee surgery, I get car sick. I get like in planes, so I have to take like Dramamine or whatever. So like I don't know if my balance or my brain. I don't know, bro. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. It was so weird. Once we got back, I put my foot on the ground and everything went away. And I was like, all right, let's hang out now. And I was like, man, I'm the loser that went with these popular kids. Like my first time to actually engage and like talk to everybody, and I'm sick in the bathroom like a little loser. But anyways, the next year I was like, man, that meet was cool.
I didn't think any less of you. We were still boys after that. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
I was embarrassed, bro. I ain't gonna lie. But then the next year I saw that the hybrid showdown was like the meet, and I was like, you know what? I could do like a smaller meet and just get back at it. And I'm like, that's when the WRPF was like a thing. And I was like, wait, I don't have to watch. I think that was your first WRPF hybrid showdown. Because the year before was USPA.
Yep.
So I was like, wait, I don't have to watch my squats out. Like, this is like my multiply world, but raw with reps. So I was like, okay, like I'll go, I'll do it. I went at 181, and actually I placed second overall versus Daniel I don't know,
Missing check.
242.
Yeah, missing check.
Huh?
Yeah, Daniel missing check.
Yeah. He beat me by like point something. And then the next year, he beat me again by point something. I went from second. And then I got that's how much better that meet got in 1 year, because from year 2 to 3, I had a 5 like 30 dots and I got second. Then I had a 5, I think it was like a 579 and I got third. So that's how like much better that meet got in just 1 year, you know. So
Yep.
but that was kind of it. And then I did the Kern. I just kind of got worse at the end of that, just because I started chasing the big meets, trying to keep up with people like, at that time I was like, I still want to be like world record guy. Like I still have so much to prove. And this is in my mind, I'm like, this is all I have is powerlifting. But in reality, it wasn't all I had. What I had was a coaching business, apparel company, like, and then I just kind of started stepping back and just enjoying training, and actually got so much better. And I ended up opening a gym.
But I'll tell you what, also, all along that time, it's the sport changed and evolved so much as well, right? Yeah. If you date back to that first Raw meet when you're supposed to go head to head with Ross Petkoff and you broke all-time world records, that meet, it looks like you when you broke those all-time world records, you had like a 540 dots, right? So at that time, that was elite, right? Now, that doesn't even get you an invite to the Ghost Clash, like
that doesn't even get me an invite to USAPL prime time.
Right. Like how crazy is that? How like that change of things. So it's like you had that period of keeping up, but then also you get in your 30s, you have all these other things going on, and there's just like this new young talent pool that's not as aged and well driven like you. You know what I mean? They've been doing it since 2007. But I will say that I didn't know that statistically that your best ever dots performance ever was at my meet. So that's very, very cool. Hybrid Showdown 3 in 2021, hitting a 579 dots. That's massive. That's huge.
Yeah. At the time, like I wanted to I think at that meet, actually, I kind of sucked on the deadlifts because I didn't suck, but I went from 750 to 800 because John Hack had the American record at 799, and I was like, he's here. He just pulled like 860 or 880, so like, why not try to like? And it didn't even come off the ground. Like it was pretty embarrassing, but it was cool. It created a lot of hype. I remember, you on the mic and everyone was going crazy. It was just like that moment of like, this is maybe my last chance to be like that good. So I was just like, let's do it. Like I probably could have went up 10 pounds and took second over Danny, but I'm like, I may never get this moment ever again. Like, who knows? What if I get it? I would have went up I would have had a 600 dots. Like, well, let's do it. But it didn't even come off the ground. It was pretty embarrassing. And actually, your athlete, Jawan, me and him were going back and forth because he was in sleeves and he's drug tested. I was like, yo, if you beat me, like, I'll retire. I was like, if you out squat me in sleeves, I'm good. I'll retire. Man, that boy smokes me, bro.
He's built different.
But now we have the American Pro, drug tested, non-tested. Where's he going? He's a drug tested lifter. He wants to go with the dog, Right. So that's crazy.
It's really cool. This turning point's a really cool transition to kind of talk about pro powerlifting and what you and I have done for pro powerlifting over the years. So you guys just heard us talk about the Hybrid Showdown meet, which I started. The first year was end of 2017. End of 2018. And it was USPA sanctioned before switching over into 2020. Hybrid Showdown 2 is WRPF sanctioned. I ran a couple small WRPF meets before that, and what kind of segued me. There's some music playing.
I can hear you now.
Their background music.
In mine? Shouldn't be.
All right, good now.
Oh, sorry.
You're good. So with the Hybrid Showdown and that meet, doing some meets before that. This was me trying to take a role in pro powerlifting, put up these meets with a ton of prize money, bring out people like John Hack, who was there, Jamal Browner, who was there, all the best in the world at that time. And I took a lot of influence of that from a meet like Boss of Bosses, right? A meet that everyone knew and loved. I'm pretty sure I saw you there. You weren't competing, but I'm pretty sure I saw you one year there. Maybe
Steph competed.
Exactly. Steph was competing. That might have been the first time that we met in person, possibly. But
Yeah.
seeing those meets, that's what took a lot of influence for me to decide to start running the hybrid showdown and doing a meet like that. But how was the hybrid showdown formatted? How was Boss of Bosses formatted? These were meets in a gym, right? How most meets were 99% of the time, if it wasn't a national level meet with multiple platforms that was done in a ballroom or something, these were meets, even a pro meet like this was done in a gym. Then the game starts changing, right? Things start evolving. And that's where you have now the Ghost Clash, the American Pro, different meets like that, where things are completely changing, completely evolving, finding these awesome venues, going us as meet directors getting outside of our comfort zone, taking on these expenses and everything related with it to try to do things as big and cool as possible for you guys. That's kind of, if you guys have seen the recent Ghost Clash, that's kind of where I was at. But Micah, without talking a whole lot about it, Micah has completely changed the game with his partner Anna to bring like things as a completely different atmosphere when it comes to production and everything that goes on behind the meet. So segueing off of your athletic career and stuff like that, let's kind of talk about you as a business owner. Like you said, all these times, for years you've been doing coaching, right? We all know a lot of people can do coaching and start a coaching business like this. You can't open a gym like this. You can't run an American Pro like this,
Yeah.
So take me through kind of your professional and business leading up to just being an online coach, moving wherever you want, to opening a gym and running these meets.
So honestly, man, like when I started coaching, I just felt like for some reason people liked me, people hated me, whatever, but people were talking about me, and it just got to a point where I was like, hey, like I don't have any fallbacks, I don't have degrees, like I need to take advantage of this at a high capacity, and I just started looking back at my life, man, and all the like shitty things that I've been through, and I'm like, man, I want to build a brand. I don't just want to have a coaching brand. I want to build, we want to build a brand. And that's what, me and Steph were talking about, hey, what if we did like a clothing line, made some t-shirts, blah, blah, blah. So at the time, one of my good friends was part owner of Feed Me, Fight Me. I don't know if you're familiar with them. Huge clothing company back in the day. And I was like, I coached one of them and I was like, hey, dude, like, would you guys be willing to like make me a shirt? And at the time I started my business of Marino Power System, and we made like a little shirt on it, bro. And it was literally so dumb. It was a Marino Power System with a circle, and then it had me. I don't know if you know back, but after like I started hurting my knees, I started doing videos benching with sunglasses on in the gym. Like I was just being stupid, doing funny videos, being like an asshole, like not to people, but just the asshole in the gym where you're like, fucking, this dude is a douchebag. I still kind of am, but like at least I like people. And so I started to get like engagement and stuff. So I was like, you know what, screw it. So I made my coaching shirt, and it literally had my face on it with a beard, my hair done, and I had glasses on it. That was my brand, bro. I'm like, what dude is gonna wear this shirt? I'm getting it to all my athletes, and no one's buying them. So I'm like, man, and then the guy, I'm like talking to the guy from Feed Me Fight Me.
Please
like,
tell me you still have one of those shirts.
I have one in my house. I'll send it to you. It's
you just have to you have to keep those kind of things. That's where shit started.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm literally gonna wear it. I'm gonna wear it one of these days and just be like, yeah, it was like when I was 165 pounds.
Yeah, that's sick.
It's so funny. So anyways, we're talking to him, and he's like, man, you got to think of a name. Like Marino Power System isn't a brand, it's your name, so I'm like, he's like, just sit down and go through stuff that like you've been through in your life, like, and let's think of something. So I'm like, sitting there, and I'm like talking to my brother, and I remember my brother had a tattoo on his arm with a fish right here, and it basically said along the lines of like, the fight never ends or never stop fighting, and da, da, da. So I'm like, okay, and like, I'm spitballing things, and I'm like, man, fight or flight. That was a thing, fight or flight. And then we looked it up. That was on Adobe, or not Adobe. That was like patent. No one could use it. So I'm like, what about fight or quit? Like that means a lot to me, and it doesn't evolve just around powerlifting. It could be anything. So then we started making a couple t-shirts. We made one t-shirt, and like all my clients bought it. So then it was like, all right. Then I started doing another thing. Then I was like, you know what? Like I have enough money right now off these shirts to buy like screen printing a product instead of like going and buying a new car. I'm gonna buy screen printing stuff. So then we bought screen printing stuff, like the you know what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
The screen printing, all the supplies, and then we put it in our garage. And then like we started doing drops every month, dude. And it was like just taking off. Like nothing crazy, nothing like some of these companies are like making millions, but it was like, holy crap, like this is the thing. Like we're building a brand here. And then what we did is every weekend we drove to a powerlifting meet. I drove to Cali every weekend. Me and Steph drove to Cali every weekend for like 2 years, bro. Maybe twice a month. Sorry, I don't want to say every weekend. And we just hosted Boost. That was before Boost was a thing, bro. Like now it's at every meet. You'll have 5 to 6 vendors, and it's a way to make money and sponsor. And back then, they didn't want sponsor money. They didn't even know what that meant. They were just like, yeah, dude, come down and da da da. And then they're like, people thought I lived in California because I was there so much. And then one day, I'm like, COVID hit, and I'm like, we have nowhere to train. I'm like, man, we need to get out of the house. Like we need to get out of the house. The garage is a mess. So I was like, what if we found a small little garage gym, or not garage, but like warehouse.
House.
We screen printed, and then like I didn't want a building because I didn't want to pay for it. But I was like, but if we have like 30, 40 members, so I start like texting all my clients in Vegas, which at the time I had like 30. I'm like, hey guys, if we open a gym, would you guys be willing to pay like $50 a month to come train? Like none of them had a gym really that was like that community. It was just like there were just gyms. So I was like, it's gonna be tiny. It's gonna be like 1,200, or I think it was like 1,900 square feet, and no air, awful. And we opened it, and then that's when COVID really started to shut down. So we're like, whatever. And then I guess when COVID started opening, like our gym kind of went from like being this small little gym to like we have no room. So believe it or not, I called my landlord up, and we were getting ready to host our first meet, which was the FQ Classic 1. And we were going to host it out in our huge parking lot. It was going to be in May in Vegas outside. I didn't even think about like the heat in May. Talking about 100-degree weather, bro. We were just going to do it out in the parking lot, and the warm-up room was going to be my gym. Did not think about it, but a
Well, that's
month before the
because
meet,
you forgot the detail. You had hosted one meet at that small gym that I flew out and I was there for.
forgot about
You weren't
that.
the meet director. It was a USPA sanctioned meet because
Holy
it
crap.
wouldn't allow you to be your own meet director. And I remember I go
Yeah.
to the gym, and you say it was 1,900 square feet, but that's being generous because there was such a large office space, right? The
Yeah.
office took up like half of the entire thing.
It was 1,200 square feet in the training, the gym space.
Yeah,
Yeah.
super, super small and cozy. And
Yes.
I remember the platform and like the audience was in there, but this was in November, I'm pretty sure, in
Yeah.
Vegas. The weather
It
was
was
not
the
bad. It rained, but it wasn't hot out. And it was the one day a year that it rained like in forever, right? But I
it was like
remember
200 days.
and I just thought, I was like, damn, he's gonna have, because I had already been running meets at that point. I was like, man, he's gonna have to do something about this to keep running meets. He got lucky that it was a shit meet director who didn't sell out the meet and didn't get anyone to actually compete. There was 20
Yeah.
years, so it did the job.
Yeah,
So
that was
now you
that.
have this actual big meet coming up, and you're like, oh man, what am I gonna do?
Yeah, we had a 2-day meet, non-tested. This is at the time no one did non-tested and tested in the same weekend. So and dude, it just sold, like people were coming from all over the place, and I'm like, this is gonna be fun. Like I didn't think about it. I'm looking at the weather. I'm like, oh my god, it's gonna be 95. About a month out, I'm hitting up my landlord, and I'm like, hey, we want to get into like 3,000 square feet. We want to just get a little bigger. And then he calls me like a month before the meet, dude. And he's like, hey, so in the same parking, same plaza that we're in, but over in the front, there's a spot that just opened. The owner actually got into a car accident, and they're just giving up. Like no one worked here. It was just him by himself. He had a pet store or whatever. And he's like, do you want it? I was like, well, how big is it? And he's like, it's around 7,000. I was like, whoa. I was like, I don't know, bro. Like, what's the price? And then he told me, and I was like, well, dude, there's no way. Like, I can't do it. I don't make that. Like, if we be spending all our money just to pay, not, from everything, coaching, like just to pay the rent. And he's like, well, what if I give you $1,500 off for the next 3 months? And I'm being stupid. I'm just like, man, let me go look at it. So we go look at it. It's huge. It's right. Like, I just see it. I'm like, man, like, talk to Steph, and I'm like, we got to do it, bro. Like, we just have to do it. Like, so we actually got the keys on a Monday, the meet's that Friday. So we clean it out. Like, it was destroyed, bro, because it was an exotic pet store.
Yeah, exactly.
It was,
don't underplay it. I remember you posted videos on Instagram. I was shitting my pants for you. I'm like, how is he going to do that? How is he going to have it there in 5 days? Like, holy
crap. Was the worst, bro. And my landlord's like, hey, I'm out of town. Like, he really didn't do anything besides like order us a 40-gallon trash can, which we filled twice. And he was like, yeah, go get the keys. They cleaned it out. I went there, dude, nothing was cleaned out. Like, it was horrible. And I'm like, oh my God, we have a meeting. We have weigh-ins in 3 days. So all my members are thinking to come to the gym to help us move stuff from one place. So when they get here, I have like 20 people. I'm like, guys, let's go over here. They walk in, they're just like, I need you guys. Like, I'm so sorry. And all of them were competing this weekend. So I'm like, if we want to make it work, dude, we gotta start cleaning. And we just got everything out. We started ripping things off the wall. There's bird poop everywhere, spider webs everywhere. And then, a cleaning crew came in. It took them 3 days, bro, cleaning like 12 hours. You're
not exaggerating. I remember it was literally pasted on walls, like out of a horror movie. But I remember when I saw it, I'm like, man, that is a fucking badass spot. He's getting it in terrible condition. But again, that's where it's like, it's fucking fight or quit, man. It's like you go after what you fucking want, and whatever it takes, you go down fucking swinging, and you got it done.
We would have never gotten to where we are. And now fast forward, we're on, we've hosted 6-7 meets a year. Now we're hosting USAPL 10 meets a year, and now we're at the point where I'm like, I want to move. I'm 3 years here, and I want to move because we've built this huge community. We're the only gym in Las Vegas that is only powerlifting. Like, and the reason why, it's not that I don't like any other sports or I'm not biased, but here's my thing, bro. I don't have millions of dollars. There's some crazy gyms out here in Las Vegas that are just so sexy. And they do it all, bodybuilding, this. But I know powerlifting, and I love powerlifting. So for me, it's like, I just want a place where my people have a place to come. And I'm not disrespecting bodybuilding. I know how hard it is, or CrossFit or whatever, but a place where everyone can come and just feel that like community of like, we're all doing the same thing, which I think that's one of the reasons why we're doing so well here. And, we started hosting a lot of USAPL stuff. And now I'm like, we have 10 combo racks, 3 monos, 6 deadlift platforms, over 40 bars. And I'm like, I kind of want to move, man. I want to get something around like 15,000 square feet, which would be scary. But like, rewind 3 years ago, if we didn't take that step, we wouldn't be where we are today. So it's like one of those, you get it, you know what I mean? Like, if you don't take that next step, like, I put it this way, the worst thing that's going to happen, bro, we fail. And we got to like, somehow, the cool thing is that my landlord has so many places here that like, hey, bro, I can't afford it. Like, move me back. I don't know. Like, I don't know the laws, but like, best case scenario, bro, we take on a 12,000, 14,000 square foot building, because here's the thing that sucks, bro. Hosting meets 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times a year. I have to clean the entire gym out. We rent a U-Haul, and we just
26-foot U-Haul, baby. I got that coming up on Saturday that I'm doing. I get
you. So, and it's just equipment wear and tear, bro.
Yep.
If we could have a gym big enough, we could just. This side is for the meets and the gym, and also you get it. The more members you have, the harder it is to be like, hey guys, we're closed Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They'll be like, wait, what? You know what I mean? So like, even though half our members do our meets, but still, if we want to scale to that, like, I know you have crazy amount of members. Like, if we want to get to that 300-400 mark, like, we got to do something, So
yeah. Well, everything you just said is something that if you guys listen to this podcast regularly, when I've talked to other gym owners, or you've just heard me speak on my own, everything comes down to calculated risk. right? And how you're taking that risk and taking slow methodological steps getting up to it. And you doing that, starting small before building up, is literally what it comes down to, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So are you currently looking at places at all?
Yeah. I mean, we signed a 5-year lease. So, I know location's huge in Las Vegas though. Like, but I will say this, Vegas is blowing up right now, and it's just crazy. Dude, the amount of day passes, I mean, you get it, bro. You're in Miami, so like people travel there for vacation. So like the amount of day passes that you get, it's a destination place. So that's really one of the things that like I think when USAPL Nats came to Las Vegas, we were the only USAPL gym friendly. So they emailed every lifter, dude. We did like 300 day passes that weekend. It really kind of just put us on the map of like when people come to Vegas and they want a powerlifting gym, they come here. So it's like, you know, uh, would it be silly of me to just keep trying to cram in one little small place, or just say, hey, screw it. Like, I just got to buckle down and work a lot bit harder and risk it and see, we've looked at, we haven't looked, but I've talked to my landlord and, Vegas is getting expensive, bro. Like you're talking double my rent now for 16,000 square feet, but you know, vault, the big high ceilings, like you have air conditioning, multiple offices, like, because I want to, have there's so many things I want to do inside the gym. You can do a small store, you can do, rent out your offices, you can, there's just so many, a big lounge, cool things that's just going to come down to money, and it's hard when you're by yourself. You get it. You're, it's hard, a lot of these other gym owners, that we see, they have 5 of their best friends, it's just me and Steph. Like, we don't have 6 people that are like, you know what, hey, let's all dump in 100K. You know what I mean? Like, so that's one of those things too. It's like, do we look outside and try to find someone? But then it's like, we've worked our butt off from the bottom to just like, hey, guy with money, you want to help us? Like,
Right.
I don't
No.
know.
But again, the smartest thing you could have ever done is you start little and you make those baby steps up.
Yeah.
You let yourself grow into it. And again, alone from your meets and what you've built with your brand, little by little over time to become what it is today. You said, "Oh, what's the worst that can happen? You fail." But no, you will continue growing, you will continue building. But everyone else listening that looks at like what Micah and I do, running all these meets per year, having a big destination powerlifting gym, it's like, it's not easy. It started from the bottom, grew up, but there are always that risk to that just crumbling and letting go. But you always have that contingency plan. You having that backup of, oh, well, I can maybe go back. My landlord owns 1 million properties, downgrade if necessary, whatever that may be. But nah, man, yeah, that's cool. So without again getting into too much on the meat aspect of things, everyone, you guys have been seeing all the buildup for the American Pro. A lot of my guests that I've already interviewed here in the podcast are getting ready for the American Pro. Micah is doing almost every day or multiple times a week, interviews live on Instagram with some of the different lifters on the American Pro. And before we started recording, we were talking about all kinds of things, all American Pro, that I'm really excited about. So I don't want you to give away too much, Micah, but just let everyone know, if they don't already know, when the American Pro is, where it's at, and they'll obviously expect to hear you back on for us to talk more about it.
Yeah, I mean, so the America Pro 2 is coming up in October, October 27th, 28th, 29th, which actually the day 2 sleeve day is my birthday as well. So if that doesn't tell you, like, yeah, if that doesn't tell you, I mean, that's like one of those things for me. It's like, why would you do that? I'm like, but this is kind of like a birthday present to myself of like being able to just be in such a big event with the feeling is just, you were there, bro, last year. It's just a feeling you can't really, you can't really even explain. It's like love at first sight, and it's like it's specs and just nasty, and it's just crazy. So but yeah, man, I mean, the American Pro 2, everyone kind of already knows about it. We are super sorry about that. We were super excited about it. Anna and myself, just a tiny backstory about the American Pro. I was got a DM from some person I know, Anna Smash on Instagram, and she kind of like brought up the idea of like this venue, and no one wanted to buy in. She reached out to USPA, all these people, and she's like, hey, I saw you were doing this. I knew of her because she did like the Kern, and literally I was like, show me the venue. So she started showing me pictures. I'm like, dude, chill. Like, there's no way this is real. So I was like, hey, she's like, well, why don't you fly out here? I was like, all right, bet. When? I'll fly out tomorrow. So she actually flew me out. We went and checked it out, and then that's how it became a thing. And we looked at the venue, and then we're like, yeah, start thinking of names. And I'm in the shower. She's on her way to come pick me up to go back to the venue, and I'm like, Steph. She's like, what? I'm like, what about the American Pro? And I'm like washing my body, bro. And she's like, yeah. And then I'm like, yeah, you're right. It doesn't sound good. And I started doing something else, and then I'm like, American Pro, American Pro. And I'm like, yo, I text her. I'm like, yo, I found a name when you get here. And she like pulled up to the hotel, and I like jump in the car. I'm like, the American Pro. I like screamed in her ear, and I like barely like knew her. And she was like, oh, so that's kind of a backstory on how the American Pro came a thing. We never really thought it would be what it is, but I think in reality, it's just cool to be able to be a part of something like this, and you've done it with the Ghost Clash, and just try to create something that's just different, man. And that's all it is, and it's just trying to mix fun, MMA, WWE, ratchet, like just swag, and all into one. And we're super excited that we added a drug test today. And to make it 3 days is going to be a long, stressful weekend, but I guess you just guys have to, come down and find out in 15 weeks.
Hell yeah, man. Well, you already know I'm there with you all 3 of those days, and the day before and the day after. Anything you need. I love being able to be a part of it. Love being able to have you on. I knew a lot of your story, but I hope all the listeners enjoyed hearing a little bit about Micah. And I'm
Micah.
Micah, baby, we'll have you back on, getting closer to the meet to kind of talk about all the lifters and recap all of that stuff. And side us out, Micah. Let them know where they can find you on Instagram.
Man, y'all can just Google me. No, I'm kidding. But on Instagram, I'm just Micah_Marino. And then I own a gym page called Fighter Quit Gym. And then we own the clothing company. It's the actual brand page. It does it all. It's at Fighter Quit Co. And yeah, man, we're out here in Las Vegas. So if you guys are ever looking for a powerlifting gym that is going to allow you to come in, open arms, we're here.
Awesome. Thanks for hopping on, Micah. And we hope you guys enjoyed episode 15 of the WRPF podcast.